So you've tried to avoid quarantine, you've tried to avoid travel, but this trip is just unavoidable. Here are some tips that I wish I knew before I embarked on my quarantine stay. Hello friends, my name is Kat and welcome to Katapedia. If you've watched my recent 2 videos, you will know that I stayed at a hotel for quarantine for 14 days. I was coming from New York and my quarantine stay was in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is really strict about it. You will see from all the things that they require online that it's a lot of stuff. I'm a huge advocate of mental health and I think that depending on the things that you struggle with, a quarantine stay can be quite tough. But there are ways in which you can prepare. So it's been about 2 weeks since my quarantine stay and I've had a good think about the things that were helpful and not helpful. I split it into the before, the during and the after. So let's get started.
Before your quarantine stay.
I think the focus here is research and preparation. Leading up to my flight out of New York, Cathay Pacific, which was the airline that I was flying with, sent me a list of all the documents that I would need in order to board that flight. It does seem like a lot. If you have everything, then you're pretty much good to go. One really important thing to remember is to make sure that no matter what it is, whether it is your hotel reservation, your vaccination, your flight ticket, it's all the same name as your identification. One mistake that I made was that my hotel reservation was just my first name and my last name, but it didn't include my middle name, and there was another girl next to me who had the exact same issue. And we were pretty much the last people to board the flight because we were calling our hotels in Hong Kong trying to get them to send in a new reservation confirmation that included our full names. So ensure that it all has the same name. And don't be afraid to email your airline because they're probably used to getting all of these questions. I emailed Cathay a lot. Thank you so much for replying to all of my emails. It was super helpful because it is a stressful experience and it's not like it's something we've done before. Hotel prep. Check the size, the price, the delivery options, and whether or not they allow friends, family to drop off packages for you. If you take a step back, you need to think about what is most important to you. I prioritize the size of the room and also the delivery options available. I didn't go for a huge room, but I went for something that was bigger than the smaller size. I wanted to separate the place where I sleep from the place that I will work and work out and eat. So all of those 3 things I did in one half of the room, and then I slept and rested in the other half of the room. Location is key because it determines what you have access to in terms of food delivery and grocery delivery. One thing that I definitely would recommend is downloading the local delivery apps like Deliveroo, Uber Eats, Foodpanda, and then input the location of your hotel and see whether or not they have the options that you want. Some places will also offer grocery delivery. Foodpanda has Panda Mart, and it also has U-Select, which is basically Tesco's, and then M&S, and it might even have Park and Shop, but some of them do have minimums. So M&S, for example, has a 400 Hong Kong dollar minimum, which is not an amount that you'll be spending, especially if you don't have a working fridge in your room. But again, it helps for you to know what options are available in the place that you're potentially going to stay at. And prior to going through the quarantine experience, take a look at your life from an outsider's perspective. What are the things that are important to you? What do you need to make your stay comfortable? Do you require coffee in the morning? Do you have a specific tea that you like to drink in the morning to wake up? Do you need an eye mask to sleep? Do you have sensitive skin? Or do you get allergies? It's much easier if you think about this almost like a camping trip where you need to have your little living first aid kit. If anything does happen, you have easy access to painkillers or any of these steroid creams, things that you would need in case of a sort of small emergency. You can email or call your hotel and see whether or not they do accept packages from friends and family, because if they do, then maybe you can give a list to your friends and family of the things that you would like to have at the hotel and they can drop it off on the day that you arrive. Mental prep. It can feel so... I felt really anxious before my quarantine experience. I was thinking about the what ifs. I do feel slightly claustrophobic as well. I'm the sort of person who always goes for the aisle seat and not the one near the window. So being in a room the whole time without opening the window is quite difficult for me to think about. I started to psych myself out, and that is something that you really don't need to do. If this is something that you need to go through, then don't overthink it. It's easy to say. It might even help if you have a counselor to talk about that. And the way that I looked at it was, okay, so this is something that I have to go through. What is a logical, structured way that I can tackle this? And that's why I laid out a plan of all the things that I would need, all the options. I weighed out all the pros and cons of each hotel, and I ended up going with one that ticked most of the boxes. It's kind of like a compulsory school camping trip, except you have AC, you have 24 hours of running water, and you also have a roof over your head, and you can get delivery in most of the hotels. So it's not that bad, you know? It's doable. before you go into this quarantine, you should see what your emergency helplines would be. Whether it is a close friend, a family member, or a counselor, because you don't know how you're going to react to it. And just in case you need that extra bit of support, you want to have it there during your stay. Allocate your days and organize your time. One of the first things that I did when I got there was I cleared out all the surfaces. I made sure that, I had my computer where I needed it to be. I had my chargers. I stripped away all the things that made it very hotel-like. Those little wine menus, because I'm not going to be ordering wine when I'm there. And then I had a calendar out. I marked in the day that I got there and I numbered it all the way until the day that I'm checking out. I also made sure to mark the days where I'm getting a COVID test. I would say that the first 3 days and the last 2 to 3 days you can almost not really think too much about, because they will go by a lot faster than the rest. The first 3 days, especially if you're flying from a place further out, you're going to be trying to get used to the time difference. You'll be jet lagged. You'll probably be sleeping most of the first 2 days. And then with the last couple of days, you've got to organize everything for when you're out. You are tidying, you are packing, and you're quite excited. It ends up being your sort of zen time alone before you have to meet all the people, catch up, work with people. That's why I feel like the 7-day one is not too bad. But when you get to 14 and 21, then you need to think about the days in between. Make a schedule and a routine for yourself to follow, and you will feel so much better. The key parts of a routine include exercise. If you're usually a very active person, then maybe bring a yoga mat. The movement that you incorporate into that day will help stave off any lethargy, because you don't want that feeling of just hermiting and just curling up in a ball the whole time. You end up feeling tired and then kind of lonely and sad. And so the way that I tackled that is every morning when I got up, I had my tea and then I would do my workout. If you need weights, what I did is I used the plastic water bottles that they gave me to drink, and then when they were empty, I would refill them with tap water and then put them into these big bags. So I use those as weights. Think about what you need, think outside the box. You can probably make a sort of makeshift thing, whatever it is that you're looking for. You can even bring those exercise bands. Someone else that I know who was quarantining, she would walk/run 10K a day on the spot. So you could do that. You could put on a show that you want. You could maybe walk for however many kilometers you usually walk, just to get yourself going, because you're going to be in this room for quite a while and you want to get some sort of movement in. And this will be good for your mind and for your body. The second key part of the routine is the food that you're going to be eating. The hotel is going to provide you with a menu of foods you might be able to choose from. The one that I stayed at would give 2 options every single day. But the food wasn't exactly the type that I'm used to eating. It wasn't something that was very high quality. Your fridge might not work. You might not even have a fridge. So call up the hotel to check whether or not they have that. Think about what sort of staple foods you can have that won't go bad very quickly. You will also see, as we mentioned before, the sorts of groceries that are available to you, and sort of plan around that. It ended up being quite easy to get over jet lag. The hotel only delivers the food at certain hours of the day. They ring the bell in the morning or knock on the door in the morning at a certain time, and you get up because you've been woken up. So pros and cons. I was really tired the first couple of days, but it got my sleep schedule back on track. Number 3, hygiene. Hygiene is super important. I'm not just saying, shower yourself to keep yourself clean, because you don't need to overdo it as long as you're not stinky. What I'm talking about is more the area that you're going to be living in. The hotel is not going to have anyone clean your room during your stay, so definitely bring slippers. Bring slippers, bring slippers. Bring comfortable slippers that you can walk around in and you don't mind having in a hotel. The floor will probably get pretty gross, so try your best to not get things on the floor because it won't get cleaned. Take out the trash as much as you can. They probably allocate times for when you can take it out, and this will help maintain the cleanliness of your room. Be careful if you're getting any food that stinks, because if it goes bad, it spoils, or if it spills onto your bed, you're gonna have that smell in the room with you, and you don't want that. Work. For your work, keep it as close to your usual work schedule as possible. If you're someone who works from 9 to 5, then keep those as your work hours. You want this to be as close to the life that you're used to as possible. Socializing. If you're someone who really loves socializing with people and you're afraid of being lonely, then try and book an hour a day, allocate it to calling different people. If you have a partner or siblings or close friends, let them know that you might reach out to them because you just want to have a chat because you're by yourself. I'm sure they will understand. So you can schedule all of these social interactions that will help make your stay kind of sociable, even though it's virtual, but at least you get to talk to people. And if that's important to you, then make sure that that's a part of your stay. And then finally, relax. Allow yourself to relax. For those of you who are workaholics, allow yourself time to relax. Just don't feel like you always have to be working. You're not wasting time. You are recharging and you are healing your body and your mind. Just remember that. Your body is a temple and so is your mind, and you need to allocate time to heal and recharge. I would say that for the quarantine stay itself, so during the quarantine stay, it was definitely a mental game more than anything else. The biggest tip that I can give about this is to not think about the situation that you're in, especially if you're prone to being claustrophobic or anxious. Don't think about the fact that you're in a room. Don't think about these things, because the more you think about it, the more you start psyching yourself out. Instead, stick to thinking day by day. You can set yourself a goal for that day, and then you tackle that goal, you do the things, you check them off your list, and then you relax. And before you know it, it's the next day already. Give yourself some goals, things that you want to accomplish during your stay, whether it is vlogging, writing your book, replying to all those emails that you've left in your inbox for a while, or catching up with some people that you haven't caught up with for a long time. As you go through the week, spread them out throughout the week, and it will feel like time is going by a lot faster. To be completely honest, I think I was more worried before the stay than during. Even as I got to the hotel, I was standing outside the room and hesitating as to whether or not I should go in, because I knew that the moment I stepped in, it would be 14 days. But during the stay itself, I actually wasn't that worried at all. I just fell into this routine. The human body and mind really is so much better at adapting than we give it credit. If you do need help at any time though, feel free to reach out to a counselor. I got a piece of paper that had contact numbers for a mental health helpline. Every single person that was staying at that hotel got it. So I think that was a really good idea. After your stay, I decided to check out at midnight. And because my hotel was a 24-hour one, I could do that. Some hotels I think only allow you to check out the next morning. I did not want to wait. So I zoomed out. As soon as it was midnight, I called them, I was like, hi, I'm done, I'm ready, I'm packed, I'm ready to check out now. During your stay, you might think, oh, I'm super eager to meet everyone. But in actual fact, you need to give yourself some time to adjust. Do not pack your schedule for the week after your quarantine stay. You may feel more tired than usual. And so you need a little bit of time to sort of readjust to what life is like. You need to go out, you need to socialize, you need to interact with people. And we get used to doing this when we're out and about in the world. But as I'm sure some of you have experienced with work from home and staying at home so long, it takes adjusting. When I first stepped out, it actually felt like I was in this game or virtual reality game. It was so surreal. I was sitting in the taxi and just looking outside the window, and it just felt like I was in a movie. It's like an out-of-body experience. Kind of cool, kind of excited, but also kind of hazy, if you know what I'm saying. All in all, I would say preparation is key. Organize your time, know yourself, get to know yourself before the stay. And as I said before, the human body and mind really is better at adapting than we give it credit. It can adjust to this type of life. And remember, your physical health and mental health should be your priority. So if at any time you really need anything to help your mental or physical health, reach out to someone. Don't keep it in. It's not a hassle, it's not a burden. If it's something that you need to keep yourself mentally and physically healthy, reach out and make sure someone knows about it. Well, that's pretty much it. That's all I can think of at the moment. If you have any questions, definitely let me know in the comments below. I will try my best to respond to them. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this was at least somewhat informative and will help you through the process. Stay happy and healthy. Like, comment, and subscribe if you liked it. It means a lot. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.